Yo, what's good YouTube? Zangoose here, aka Scoot, back with the Pokemon Battle Federation Season 5 Week 4 prep talk, where I go in-depth explanation about why I built my team the way I did for an upcoming Pokemon Battle Federation battle. So we had missed our Week 4 game because there was a coach that dropped out. We got him replaced. He's been making up all of these games. He's got a whole new roster that I'm about to go over. And his name is Spazzy Platoon, also known as Spazzy Plat, or just Spazzy, or even Spaz. Or if you know him well enough, you may call him by his first name or his real name. Anyways, he is coach of the Friday Harbor Zangoose, which is a sick name. He's got a sick logo that you will have seen on the thumbnail because I really like it, so I figured that I would drop it into the thumbnail as well. I might start doing that. If I can get like a transparent copy of all the logos, I'll start dropping logos on the thumbnails as well. Anyways, his team, so basically he just threw away his entire draft and he got to redraft starting from his original 105 points from the all the mons. So things like Kieran Black and Excadrill and Clefable were available, and I was really timid about like what he was going to choose, like because he could look at his schedule and pick a few matchups that are really tough and then help himself build around that. Things like Celesteela was available, Salamence, Mega Gardevoir, Tapu Fini. Anyways, he chose to go a different route, a very interesting route, starting off with a very threatening mon in Volcarona as a Z-move user, which is very threatening. And then he goes out to fill out a Fire, Water, Grass core and a Fairy Dragon Steel core, which is pretty cool. He goes with Volcarona as a Z-move user, Chestnut, Mega Aggron, Mantine, Donphan, Magneton, Alakazam, Minior, and Primarina. So, pretty cool squad. He actually doesn't have a Dragon type, which isn't that big of a deal. Dragons and stuff are nice for like, water and grass and fire checks, I guess, but I guess he's not, like, he's got that fire, water, grass core that's so good that he's not really weak to the elements, I guess, except maybe like ice, but he can probably beat around that too. So anyways, my biggest fear is most certainly Volcarona. That thing's so scary. Like, I really can't even express how scary it is. I always get like overly scared and over prepped for it. I won't lie, I really do. Volcarona gives me nightmares. It's a bug type and it's fire type. It's very threatening, and it gets a decent move pool, packed with the ability to speed creep and then invest bulk wherever you want, and then have Quiver Dance. It's just way too threatening. It's way too threatening, especially if you can support it really well. And I think this team really did with its own hazard stacks, forcing teams to defog. Also with having really solid defogger himself in Mantine. Anyways, I guess I'll talk about my team now. My first bring was Suicune. I figured Suicune was I guess in a way, since Volcarona is a Z-move user, like it can potentially Quiver Dance into Bloom Doom on my Suicune switch-in, but I can live one Bloom Doom with this investment, which is actually supposed to be like 248 HP, not 16. I don't know why that's like that. Yeah, it says 16 on screen. It says 16 HP EVs. It's supposed to be 148. It will be changed before the game. And basically, what Suicune can do for me is I can switch in on the Volcarona. If he goes for Quiver Dance, then with my investment being 248 HP and 252 special defense and a special defense boosting nature, I believe it's Careful. Actually, I believe it's Calm. calm is what it is. Careful is a minus attack. Anyways, it's supposed to have 248 HP. Like I said, I'll change that before the game. And this guarantees that I'll live +1 Bloom Doom after rocks. And meaning if I can catch him on the Bloom Doom and I click Mirror Coat, he's gone. Of course, I will lose a lot of HP. But with leftovers, Protect, the ability to reliably remove hazards, come in maybe later in the match, get a little leftovers back with Protect, and then potentially switch out again, come back in later, get another Protect. I could build myself back into a position where I have a decent amount of HP. I don't think I would ever get to full because like it would have to be a really, really long battle, and I don't think with the teams that we have, I don't think the game can go on like past like, I don't know, 70 turns. And that's highballing it. So Suicune's really nice. Now he does have Mantine, which is immune to Scald, which is why I packed the Toxic, and the Protect is there, so I can scout, get my leftovers back, can wear down anything. Can also throw a Toxic on the Chestnut, which is really nice if I don't burn it on the switch, if it comes in on a Scald or something like that. Anything that I don't burn with Scald and that isn't immune to Toxic will be Toxic and whittled down. I'm in a car, shit, a little pothole. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, basically, this thing guarantees lives me one hit, can potentially Mirror Coat, and if I see Roost on Volcarona, then I most likely won't click Mirror Coat because he might Roost, predicting me to click Scald or Roar or something, and he might want to get a little bit of HP back before he gets roared out, or he might want to get some HP back and then gauge what kind of damage my Suicune might be doing, depending on how many times he's set up with a Quiver Dancer or something like that. Obviously, a crit could ruin him too, so I do think he would be inclined to Roost up. And if he calcs me to be max PBF, max HP, then he might think I have the Mirror Coat. So then I can just throw off a Toxic if I don't have the balls to click the Mirror Coat. But yeah, that's good. That's the reasoning behind the Suicune set. I think it can put in work, and like it can switch in on the Aggron, it can switch in on the Primarina, it can switch in on the Volcarona, it can switch in on the everything basically, the Donphan, the Chestnut, the Chestnut and the Magneton. If they're offensive and speedy, they could threaten me, but they still can't OHKO me. They can never OHKO me, so that's very important in my opinion. And yeah, so I think we can move on to the next one, which is going to be Charizard, Mega Charizard X, which is going to be one of my, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It can potentially be a win condition, and it's bulky enough to be kind of like a pivot. Can come in, take a hit, roost it off, and then switch back out if I have to. But ultimately, I want to burn things like Mega Aggron and Donphan and cause them to be less of a nuisance for me. And that's the reasoning for the set with the Will-O-Wisp and the Will-O-Wisp and the defensive, or I guess the defensive and bulk investment. I guess it's just bulk investment. And then the Roost, the Flare Blitz, etc., puts me in a position to where Charizard can come in and then be in a position to win the game. I can take hits from Primarina, I can take hits from Donphan, I can take hits from I can basically take one hit from everything and potentially set up on it. So I think that's important. Now I do have to be wary of Flare Blitz recoil. I could have maybe went Fire Punch, but I did have a Roost, so I did want to guarantee like Okos on things like Chestnut and Mega Aggron. So Flare Blitz was a little bit more optimal, even though it forces me to roost a little bit more, and chances for crits are a little bit different. Not different, but more prone, I guess is the word. I'm max speed because Volcarona. Potentially speed tie with it and knock it out. Or if he has like a, let's see here, how could it work? I think even Modest Alakazam outspeeds Charizard. He can't be Modest Alakazam though because I have Crobat. Well, I guess he could be, but he could predict me to speed creep certain things. But I don't know. He should speed creep a Frostlass. He might speed creep a Crobat, speed creeping an Alakazam that speed creep a Frostlass. Wow, what a mouthful. But yeah, I guess the only mon that really can take a hit is Mantine and Donphan, and I guess Primarina, and I guess Minior, but Minior's not really going to be that defensively scary, I guess is the word. But things like the Mantine and the Donphan are going to be wore down by the rest of my team. So it puts Charizard in a really, really good position that my Suicune is the set that it is, and that the rest of my team really, really supports this Charizard, in my opinion. Now, I guess it's really dependent on how I play. I almost said determinant. Like, I don't even know if determinant's a word, but dependent most certainly is a word. And yeah, so I think my team can really put Charizard in a position to win. Next up is going to be Crobat. It's a U-turn, Brave Bird, Cross Poison, Heat Wave set with the Life Orb. Basically enough speed, like I said, to outspeed the Alakazam. U-turn gives me initiative, knocks out or does a lot of damage to Alakazam. Brave Bird's hitting the Chestnut and the Volcarona extremely hard. Nothing setting up a sub and not getting hit by my Brave Bird, or any move respectively, like Cross Poison for potentially something like Primarina, or Heat Wave for something like the Aggron or the, I guess that's it. But yeah, basically what I'm saying is Infiltrator allows me to bypass subs. So if he's like a substitute variant on Volcarona or Chestnut, I can bypass that and one-shot him with Brave Bird. Can one-shot, like I said, a few other things. Not necessarily one-shot, but I can do a lot of damage. And if I got rocks up and it comes down to it, Crobat can be a good finisher for the game. But most importantly, like I said, I almost ran Choice Scarf Brave Bird, so I guaranteed had a check to Volcarona, and then it gave me a little bit more, what's the word? A little bit. I'd get more out of Suicune. That's what I'm trying to say. I'd get more out of Suicune, and then, but I would be forced to run Choice Scarf Crobat, so I'd be locked into every move that I chose. But I felt like Heat Wave, being able to switch up my moves with Heat Wave and Cross Poison and Brave Bird is really nice, especially and the Life Orb gives me the extra damage that I need. Don't quite need the Choice Band, so this works out really, really good, and Crobat can maybe come in handy this match. But yeah, it's all dependent on how you play and how your opponent preps too. So he could catch me off guard with like a Scarf Magneton or a Scarf Alakazam or a Scarf Donphan or something. He could catch me off guard and hit me really hard. But anyway, next up is going to be Drasil, the Foragers. Rocking the Ockerberry once again because it is certainly necessary. Things like Alakazam and Primarina that I can easily switch in on could potentially have like an Expert Belt or a Life Orb or something, and then switch their move up directly to a Hidden Power Fire. Volcarona as well can hit me up with the Fire Blast, and the thing about Volcarona is this thing, Fortress will not be set up fodder for Volcarona in this match. I do have the Rock Tomb. I will knock its ass out and slow it down if I do not knock its ass out, because it has like something like a Charty Berry. If he goes for a Quiver Dance, and well, first of all, I have Sturdy, so he's forced to attack me. But if he does go for Quiver Dance and he gets hit with the Rock Tomb, then he didn't break my Sturdy, so I still have my Sturdy, so I'm guaranteed another Rock Tomb. And also, if he does hit me first, my Ockerberry pops, and I'm able to get off at least one Rock Tomb and slow him down for something else to come in. Also, I have Toxic Spikes, Rapid Spin to support Charizard and Crobat, and I guess Frostlass to an extent. Team Hazard stacks this week. Do have Toxic Spikes and Rocks. Volt Switch, just so I can just Volt Switch out on things like Mega Aggron or Magneton or Primarina, anything really. Mostly as well the Minior, which could be threatening. If I have my Sturdy up, then I can Volt Switch on it, and if it goes for Shell Smash, then it guarantees breaks its sub, and then I could come back in, especially if rocks aren't up, then I could bring this thing right back in and just click it again, because I know I'll live one hit. But yeah, that's really, I guess, I have a check for Minior later in the match. Like, you see my screen, I do have Stunfisk, which eternally walls Minior, unless it's like +2 Earthquake and gets a crit or something. Then it could be potentially dangerous for me. I do think I have enough bulk investment. I actually have to see. If I'm physically defensive, then I most certainly do have to. I do need to be crit to be knocked out in that instant. Furthermore, though, about Fortress here, Rapid Spin supports my team really like a lot. Toxic Spikes, the Toxic Spikes, it's like, let's see, how can I explain this? It is a gift and a curse in this match. For example, if I get Toxic Spikes up and I get a Toxic on something like the Alakazam or the Donphan, then I'm in a hurting position, because I want to burn Donphan and I would rather paralyze Alakazam. And this is important, because if I paralyze Alakazam, then all my mons outspeed him, right? Okay, if I burn Donphan, its attack is cut in half, and it's doing half, essentially half the damage that it would be doing to things like Suicune, Charizard, and Stunfisk. I don't say anything about Frostlass, because Frostlass could potentially one-shot a Donphan anyway, so that should never be anything. Crobat's not doing much of Donphan, but Donphan isn't doing much back unless it has Stone Edge, which is low accurate, can roost off my flying type, etc., etc. And Fortress could probably beat a Donphan 1v1 depending on movesets and PP. Anyways, Toxic Spikes could be good. They're, like I said, they're really good for the Chestnut, the Primarina, the Volcarona, even to an extent. But there's two mons that I don't want poisoned, and that's Donphan and Alakazam, which I want burned and paralyzed. Anyways, this PBF investment allows me to take on Alakazam pretty comfortably. Unless, like I said, it's Life Orb with Hidden Power Fire, then it could potentially Psychic into Hidden Power Fire doesn't knock me out, but Hidden Power Fire into Hidden Power Fire guaranteed knocks me out. And then later in the match, if my Ockerberry's already popped, I'm dead to a Hidden Power Fire Alakazam that can switch up its moves. If it can do that, then I'm in trouble. And that's all there's to say about that. But like I said, I can revenge kill it, and I do have Stunfisk, which is my next one, which can take quite a few hits from Alakazam, surprisingly. As you can see, I do have a little bit more special defense investment than I thought. Generally, I thought, well, what's the word? Firstly, I thought that I had more defensive investment, but I guess lastly I decided that it was less needed since Weekend was so SPDF invested. Even though it was so SPDF invested, its natural defense is so high that, you know, it almost sets it around 300 base points, like not base points, but 300 points without any investment. I had quite a bit of bulk investment on both sides of the spectrum, so I figured mixed defensive Stunfisk would be best in this match. I can take a Fire Blast from Volcarona pretty comfortably. Mantine can't 2-hit KO me with Scald. Donphan can't OHKO me with Earthquake. Magneton does nothing to me whatsoever. Alakazam hardly does anything. Primarina needs, I guess it does between like 35 and 40%-ish with Scald, like unboosted Scalds. Now if it's like Life Orb or Specs or something, it's going to do a lot more, potentially knock me out, especially if it's like Torrent range or something like that. But yeah, I have the Discharge and the Earth Power. Basically hits his entire team except Chestnut, which hopefully I have Toxic Spikes up for, or have Toxiced it and can hit it with the Infestation and then 1v1 it that way with the rest of my team. And then this is a really good check to Minior, as well as Mega Aggron and Magneton and Alakazam. It's like Stunfisk is a fucking god. Now, I don't know if my followers, I know like if you're really into draft league content, then you're probably a follower of Mr. Murkrow, who just recently did a draft league hot seat episode. I think it was number 3 that he did on the electric types, where he was explaining the different, you know, electric types in tiers that he put them in. You got the better electric types. There's 4 really good ones he mentioned. There's 5 really good electric types, but he put 4 of them in the best at the top category. And then he had the Revenge Killers, the Pivots, the Miscellaneous, which do things that do different things than what a normal electric type you would want it to do. And then he had the God tier, which featured 1 electric type, which was Stunfisk. And I'm telling you, Stunfisk is a god. You do the calcs, and the calcs don't lie. Calcs don't lie. That's something. There's crits, there's RNG, there's misses, burns, poisons, critical hits again, and more misses, and more critical hits, and more misses, and all kinds of RNG. There's misplays, there's bad prep, but there's something that is always consistent, and that's calculations. Calcs are always consistent, and Stunfisk calcs are phenomenal. It's a god. So thank you, Mr. Murkrow, for bringing that into the public, if some people didn't know already. Anyways, Infestation is good for the Volcarona, the Chestnut, the Mega Aggron. It's good for everything, really. So I'll leave it at that. It's really good for everything. Don't need to have any speed whatsoever, because his entire team outspeeds me tenfold. So minus special attack nature is, minus speed nature is fine. It actually is kind of beneficial in case he was like, that's so unlikely that I'm just going to cut off right there and not even mention that. My last but not least mon, Frostlass here, the Focus Sash lead with Spikes, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, and Taunt. The Focus Sash and the Curse Body makes for a good lead. Just needed enough speed to outspeed, I think, the Chestnut, and maybe a little bit more to potentially get an Alakazam that was speed creeping a Frostlass that sped crep. You know, you see what I'm saying? If I sped crep Volcarona with my Frostlass and he predicted that and sped crep that Frostlass speed with his Alakazam speed, very impressive, but you know, not unheard of, so it could most certainly happen. So I wanted to be a little bit prepared for that and give a little bit of extra HP speed myself. Throw up them spikes, taunt something like the Mega Aggron or the Volcarona. If I come in and I'm like last mon, or he needs boost to kill my last mons or something like that, there's no way I'm going to let something set up. So I'm going to click taunt. I'm going to try to avoid rocks getting up. I'll click taunt. Lead seeds, clicking taunt. Spikes, taunt. Spiky shield, taunt. Curse, taunt on the Aggron, taunt. Anything. I want to taunt everything. I don't want anything doing any kind of shenanigans. Ice beam and bolt beam is best. This match, in my opinion. Can't really hit the Volcarona, but I can taunt it and then switch out, which is pretty nice. And I do have the sash, and potentially can curse body him and disable one of his moves, or his last move that he went for, that is. And yeah, that's very important. I thought about running a different lead, but this was the one I ultimately decided on. And this could certainly change. Like if he brings the Aggron, I probably won't lead with this. Does he have reason to bring Aggron? A little bit. I do have a Crobat and a Tapu Bulu, so he might be inclined to bring Aggron. I don't know, but we'll find out. Anyways, that's going to be it for this episode. Or, yeah, this episode. Here, I sound like Mr. Merker. It's going to be it for this week's edition of Prep Talk. And, yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Look forward to the battle. And leave a like if you enjoyed. Comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. And I thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.